Valeria Marquez, a 23-year-old Mexican beauty influencer, was tragically shot and killed during a TikTok live stream, drawing attention back to Mexico's ongoing femicide crisis.
On May 13, 2025, in Zapopan, Jalisco, TikTok influencer Valeria Marquez sat inside her beauty salon, clutching a pink stuffed pig as she live-streamed to over 113,000 followers. Glancing toward the entrance, she uttered a chilling phrase, "They're coming." Those words would be among her last, moments before horror unfolded, streamed in real time to thousands who could only watch in shock. May 13, 2025 began as a normal day at Blossom the Beauty Lounge in Zapopan, Mexico. Valeria Marquez, a 23-year-old beauty influencer with over 200,000 followers, was live streaming from her salon, holding a stuffed pink pig and chatting with fans. She appeared slightly tense, mentioning an expensive gift someone had tried to deliver earlier and an odd encounter that had left her uneasy. Her words carried a nervous edge.
Maybe they were gonna kill me. Were they gonna come and take me away, or what?
These weren't just offhanded comments. They now read as chilling premonitions. Just hours before, she had told friends that if anything happened, she wanted them to know the truth. As Valeria engaged with her audience, an off-camera voice called out,
"Hey, are you Valeria?"
She replied,
"Yes."
Then suddenly muted her microphone. That was the last word her viewers would ever hear.
Ya viene.
Later on, clutching a pink stuffed animal, Marquez looks out of frame before saying, "They're coming," and a voice in the background asks for her by name.
Sí.
Marquez replies yes, then leans over to mute the sound on the live stream.
What happened next was broadcast live to thousands of viewers. The camera abruptly shifted, showing the ceiling. Moments later, the screen fell to static. Someone briefly appeared on camera, but Valeria was gone. Police later confirmed she was shot twice, once in the chest and once in the head, right there in her salon, while the world watched in horror. The investigation quickly pointed to a targeted hit. Security footage revealed that two men arrived on a motorcycle. One entered the salon, confirmed her identity, and shot her. The other waited outside, engine running. Their escape route was caught on nearby security cameras, confirming this was a planned attack. Authorities classified her death as femicide, the killing of a woman because of her gender, but many suspected something more. The salon was in Zapopan, a wealthy area known for cartel presence. Just hours earlier, two men on a motorcycle had killed a former congressman nearby. Some believed Valeria's social media success had drawn the wrong attention, or that her business was connected to dark money. News of her death spread rapidly. Her TikTok and Instagram accounts, which combined for nearly 200,000 followers, were flooded with messages of shock and grief. Fans posted tributes, sharing clips from her final live stream and expressing disbelief that such violence could happen on camera.
Valeria Marquez, a 23-year-old Mexican beauty influencer, was tragically shot and killed during a TikTok live stream, drawing attention back to Mexico's ongoing femicide crisis.
The investigation quickly expanded. Authorities uncovered evidence that the expensive gift delivery earlier that day had likely been a setup. The masked man who had claimed to have a gift insisted it be delivered in person. Valeria had mentioned on her live stream how unsettling this was, questioning if they were planning to kidnap her. As police dug deeper, they discovered security footage showing another man waiting outside on a motorcycle during the attack. The two men fled together after the shooting, their route captured on street cameras.
Which is, of course, a gender-based crime, often involving intimate partners or the extreme violence. Moments before the attack, Valeria, in fact, appeared unsettled during a live stream.
The impact of Valeria's death reached far beyond her salon. President Claudia Sheinbaum personally addressed the nation, promising a thorough investigation. Feminist groups pointed to the case as another example of Mexico's growing femicide crisis, where 10 women are murdered daily in the country, often with little justice. But Valeria's case was different. The violence had played out in real time, witnessed by thousands. It became a symbol of how public figures, especially women, faced increasing danger in the digital age. Her murder highlighted the intersection of social media fame and real-world violence, exposing the risks influencers faced when their private lives became public property.
Police arrived around 6:30 in the evening local time and confirmed her death.
As investigators pieced together the timeline, they found disturbing patterns. The motorcycle hitmen matched the profile of professional assassins. The method, posing as delivery men to gain access, was a classic cartel tactic. Yet officials hesitated to connect the crime directly to organized crime, despite mounting evidence. Valeria's final moments haunted her followers. The image of her clutching the stuffed pig, her nervous smile, and her last words, "They're coming," became a chilling reminder of the dangers women faced in Mexico. Her death sparked protests and renewed calls for justice.
Se escucha una voz de un varón que dice, ¿eres Valeria? Y ella dice, sí.
As the investigation continued, Valeria's salon became a memorial. Flowers and notes covered the entrance, while her social media accounts became digital shrines. But the violence did not end with her death. Weeks later, her tomb was vandalized, adding another layer of tragedy. Despite public outcry and international attention, justice remained elusive. The suspects disappeared into the criminal underworld, protected by a code of silence. Yet Valeria's story continued to resonate, a vivid reminder of the price women paid for visibility in a dangerous world.
And it's extremely common in Mexico, where the UN reports that 10 women or girls are murdered every day by their partners or family members.
In the end, Valeria Marquez's legacy became a catalyst for change. Her story, broadcast live to the world, demanded justice not just for her, but for all the women silenced by violence. And while her killers might have remained free, her voice, captured forever in her final live stream, continued to inspire the fight against femicide in Mexico. Valeria's live stream ended in sheer horror, but she wasn't the only one whose final moments were captured in real time. In the next case, a man's final moments were broadcast live as viewers watched in disbelief. August 31st, 2020, New Albany, Mississippi. The evening began like so many others for Ronnie McNutt, a 33-year-old Army veteran, churchgoer, and Toyota plant worker. But this Facebook live stream would end differently from any before. Ronnie was known for using social media as his personal therapy platform, sometimes rambling about theology, other times discussing pop culture. But on this particular night, his best friend Joshua Steen immediately noticed something was wrong. Ronnie appeared heavily intoxicated, more despondent than ever before, and he wasn't his typical self. The broadcast, which began around 9 p.m., quickly escalated. About 40 minutes in, Ronnie picked up a rifle and misfired it into the air, sparking frantic calls from viewers to his family, friends, and the police.
Yeah, you want to talk to me now? Oh, is that the way you're going to be? Hey, guys!
Throughout the stream, his phone rang repeatedly as loved ones desperately tried to reach him. The New Albany police arrived, set up a perimeter, and evacuated nearby residents, aware of the situation unfolding online. But Ronnie refused to engage, ignoring every attempt at intervention, even as officers tried to communicate with him through a speakerphone outside his apartment. His military service in Iraq had left deep scars, PTSD, depression, and a constant battle with mental health. Ronnie's downward spiral was evident, but no one could break through his despair in those final moments. As the stream continued, it became clear this wasn't just another late-night monologue.
Oh, is that the way you're going to be? Hey, guys!
The last call Ronnie received was from his girlfriend. Their brief argument ended suddenly. Ronnie then addressed his viewers one final time, beginning to say, "Hey guys." What happened next would shock not only his immediate circle, but the entire internet community. The police, monitoring his stream with a 10-second delay, heard the fatal gunshot. They entered his apartment to find his phone still ringing and the heartbreaking aftermath of a failed intervention. But the tragedy didn't end there. Ronnie's death, captured on Facebook Live, quickly spread across social media platforms. Despite efforts to remove the original video, copies began appearing on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, often disguised within innocent-looking content to trick viewers into watching. The viral spread became a disturbing phenomenon, traumatizing countless unsuspecting viewers, including children who accidentally stumbled upon the footage. Parents reported their kids being deeply affected, some becoming physically ill, others experiencing lasting psychological trauma. As the video circulated, so did calls for social media reform. Ronnie's friends, particularly Joshua Steen, launched the Chaka Reform for Ronnie campaign, demanding platforms take more responsibility for harmful content. They pointed out the glaring failure. Facebook systems could quickly remove a topless photo, but not a live stream of a man in crisis. The incident sparked global debate about social media's responsibility in moderating graphic content and preventing similar tragedies. It also highlighted the dark side of internet culture, where even the most traumatic moments can become viral content, often weaponized by trolls for shock value. Ronnie's final Facebook post, made just before the broadcast, read,
"Someone in your life needs to hear that they matter, that they are loved, that they have a future. Be the one to tell them."
These haunting words now serve as a painful reminder of the importance of reaching out to those in need. The aftermath saw social media platforms scrambling to remove the video and prevent its spread. TikTok and Facebook issued statements about their efforts to detect and block the content, but the damage was already done. The incident exposed significant gaps in content moderation and the urgent need for more effective safeguards. Ronnie McNutt's story reminds us of the real human cost behind viral content and the pressing need for mental health awareness. Ronnie's live stream shocked viewers across the world, yet his wasn't the only life cut short in front of an audience. The next tragic story showed just how quickly a seemingly peaceful and calm moment can change in an instant.
These are the chilling final moments of Alina Glazunova before her tragic death.
On September 27, 2024, in the early morning hours just before dawn in Tbilisi, Georgia, two friends, Irina Glazunova and her companion, were out, their energy still high from a night of celebration. Irina, just 24, was a TikTok influencer with a growing following back in Russia. This trip to Georgia was supposed to be a fun getaway, a chance to explore a new city and create memories. Instead, it became the setting for her final moments, captured forever on her own camera. Irina was bright and ambitious, a graduate of the Russian Academy of National Economy and Public Administration. Outgoing and energetic, she loved sharing her life online. That night in Tbilisi, she and her friend were filming a TikTok video singing along to the Russian boy band Hunger Boys' hit For the Last Time. The lyrics, now haunting in retrospect, played as they passed the phone back and forth, trading verses and laughter.
Glazunova had been singing and dancing to For the Last Time by Russian boy band Hunger Boys during a night out with a friend when the evening took a tragic turn.
The footage from that night was ordinary at first, two friends singing and dancing. But as the camera focused back on Irina, something went terribly wrong. In a split second, she misjudged the edge of an underpass. The barrier was only knee-high, barely noticeable in the dim light. Irina, still filming, stepped backward without seeing the drop behind her. There was a sudden scream. The camera jolted, blurred, and went dark. Panic filled the air as her friend realized what had happened. Irina had fallen 5 meters into a subway entrance. The impact was devastating. She was rushed to the hospital, but the injuries were too severe. At 9:15 a.m., doctors pronounced her dead from a broken neck and severe head trauma. The news spread quickly. The video, her final moments, circulated online, sparking shock and grief among her followers. At the site of her fall, a spontaneous memorial appeared, Flowers, candles, and notes covered the small wall that failed to protect her. The community mourned, not just the loss of a young life, but the realization that the underpass was dangerously exposed. Locals voiced their concerns about the safety hazard, noting that the barrier was barely 30 centimeters high.
Anyone could fall over that wall.
One resident posted online.
The edge of a wall and into an underground passage.
Tbilisi City Hall responded, claiming the underpass met safety standards established during the Soviet era, but the public outcry was immediate. People demanded better protection, pointing out that the tiny barrier was virtually invisible, especially at night. Irina's parents quickly traveled to Georgia to bring their daughter home. Her funeral took place at Vagankovsky Cemetery in Moscow, surrounded by friends, family, and fellow influencers. Back in Tbilisi, the city finally installed a proper barrier at the site of her fall, hoping to prevent another tragedy. The incident sparked a wider conversation about infrastructure safety, especially in tourist areas. People questioned the lack of proper barriers and the risks posed by outdated standards. Locals admitted that the spot was dangerous, especially at night when the barrier blended into the pavement.
Not paying attention can be deadly.
One commenter wrote, echoing the tragedy that claimed Irina's life. What made this story especially haunting was the song Irina was singing, "For the Last Time." The lyrics, meant to be playful, now carried a chilling weight. In those final moments as she sang and danced, Irina had no idea she was recording her own death. The video, once intended for her followers' entertainment, became a stark reminder of how quickly life could change. Irina Glazunova's story was a warning about the dangers of distraction, especially when filming content for social media. It served as a tragic example of how quickly a moment of joy could turn into disaster. Her death prompted real change. New safety barriers were installed, and people became more aware of their surroundings. But the cost was high. A young life, full of promise, was lost in an instant. As the city continued to mourn, the memorial at the site of her fall grew. Flowers, candles, and messages of remembrance covered the wall that failed to protect her. The video of her final moments remained online, a somber reminder of life's fragility. As one local said,
Anyone could have fallen over that wall.
But on that September night, it was Irina Glazunova, a vibrant young woman living in the moment, whose life ended while she was capturing memories for her followers. Irina's fall was a devastating moment caught on camera. The next case revealed just how far people can go when they are owed. A young woman's simple live stream turned brutal over an unpaid debt.
A 22-year-old woman was fatally stabbed on March 11th while live streaming outdoors in Tokyo's Takadanobaba neighborhood, popular with students due to its proximity to top universities.
March 11th, 2025. Tokyo's downtown Takadanobaba district, usually busy with commuters, was suddenly packed with crime scene tape, police cars, and forensic teams. A woman who only hours before had been live streaming her daily activities was now the center of a chilling murder investigation. Airi Sato was a 22-year-old live streamer building her audience in Tokyo. She had been navigating life as an influencer, sharing her journeys around the city, hoping to connect with fans and grow her presence. But her ambitions collided with a tragic reality, one that would play out in front of her audience and the world. Sato's path crossed with Kenichi Takano, a 42-year-old man from Oyama, Tochigi Prefecture, in 2021. Their relationship started through her video sharing activities. A fan's interest quickly turned into something darker. By 2022, Takano had begun lending her money, supporting her streaming ambitions. But as the debt piled up, so did the tension. Over 13 loans, Sato borrowed approximately 2.5 million yen, about $17,000, from Takano. She repaid only a small portion before cutting off contact, leaving the rest unpaid. Takano, feeling angry and betrayed, took legal action, winning a court order that demanded full repayment. Sato never showed up in court.
仕事してる時に、ギャー助けてというものすごい声が、響いてきたと。 ものすごいなんていうか必死の叫び声っていうか、いやー助けて、うわーっていうような感じですかね。
Just before 10 a.m. on that fateful day, Sato began another typical live stream, broadcasting her journey on Tokyo's Yamanote line. Behind the scenes, Takano watched, tracking her every move through her own feed. When she announced her next location, he made his way to the area, blending into the crowd. What happened next would forever change live stream safety standards.
いやもう女の人が倒れてて、で犯人の男性がなんか警察の人になんか輪っかみたいなのでなんか押さえつけられてるっていう、なんか表情も何も変えず、なんか言ってを見てました。
Takano approached Sato while she was streaming in public. Without warning, he attacked her violently with a 13-centimeter survival knife, stabbing her repeatedly in the head, neck, and abdomen more than 30 times. Witnesses described hearing intense screams for help. The attack was quick, shocking, and brutally public. Emergency calls flooded in around 10 a.m. Police responded within minutes, finding Takano calmly waiting at the scene with 2 survival knives. He didn't flee, he didn't resist. There was no attempt to hide his actions. The scene was chaotic. Police cordoned off the area. Forensic teams began collecting evidence. And the blue and white scooter, Sato's means of transportation, became a central focus. Nearby, a selfie stick and phone tripod lay abandoned on a drain grate, the tools of her trade now silent. Despite immediate medical attention, Sato was pronounced dead at the hospital. The final autopsy revealed a fatal wound to her neck, though the extent of her injuries left no doubt about Takano's intent. His claims of not intending to kill rang hollow against the evidence. In initial police interviews, Takano admitted to using her live stream schedules to track her. He expressed unbearable frustration, watching her continue to earn money while ignoring the court-ordered debt. That morning, seeing her live stream notice had been the final trigger.
A selfie stick was found at the crime scene, where the woman was in the middle of live streaming.
The investigation moved quickly. Takano was first charged with attempted murder, then murder, as Sato's death was confirmed. Police found clear evidence of premeditation, survival knives, a calculated approach, and the use of her live stream to locate her. The digital evidence was overwhelming. Sato's live stream abruptly cut to black during the attack, leaving viewers shocked and confused. The tripod and streaming equipment found at the scene confirmed the timeline. These viewers weren't the only ones. One man working nearby described hearing a very intense scream like, "Ah, help." As investigators pieced together the events, the focus shifted to broader questions about influencer safety, digital privacy, and the dangers of sharing real-time locations. The case sent shockwaves through Japan's digital community, highlighting the risks of public streaming. Takano's calm demeanor after the attack, waiting for the police, not attempting to flee, added a disturbing layer to the case. Witnesses described him as expressionless, simply observing the aftermath until his arrest. The legal process moved swiftly. Takano's own admissions, combined with overwhelming evidence, left little room for defense. The court considered his premeditation, the brutality of the attack, and his use of digital technology to track his victim. Security for live streamers became a top concern. The incident forced platforms to reconsider safety features, including location sharing and real-time broadcasting of personal details. Influencers across Japan and the world re-evaluated their approach to public streaming. In the end, Takano's motive was clear bitterness over unpaid debts, frustration with legal systems, and a dangerous obsession with control. But the consequences reached far beyond his personal vendetta. Airi Sato's death marked a turning point in how influencers approached security and privacy. And if you think Sato's case was shocking, the next case is even more shocking. It's about the devastating last moments of an activist whose live stream turned deadly after he dared to speak out against those in power. On June 23, 2023, he live-stream began like any other. Gabriel Jesus Sarmiento, a young Venezuelan activist, spoke directly to his audience from Maacay. But within seconds, everything changed. The familiar TikTok interface became a harrowing window into violence as gunshots erupted. The camera shook violently, and a woman's desperate screams filled the audio. Gabriel wasn't just another social media influencer. At 25 years old, he had built a following of nearly 80,000 by exposing Venezuela's criminal underworld, from organized gangs to allegedly corrupt police. His bold accusations and damning evidence had put a target on his back, but he refused to back down. For months, Gabriel documented death threats from criminal groups like Tren de Aragua and from elements within law enforcement. He knew the risks, yet continued broadcasting what he called the truth they may want to bury. The video captures a woman's panicked voice screaming in Spanish, "Ayuda! Dios mío! Help! My God!" It is a raw, unfiltered moment of terror that echoes the violence Gabriel had warned about for months. This woman's voice wasn't just any bystander, it was Gabriel's mother, herself, wounded in the attack that would claim her son's life. The attack wasn't random. For months, Gabriel had directly accused powerful figures of corruption and criminal collusion. He named names, documented extortion schemes, and even claimed to have been kidnapped by the police's Directorate of Strategic and Tactical Actions. His social media became a digital ledger of Venezuela's criminal underbelly, until the gangs decided they'd had enough. As the gunfire subsided, Gabriel's voice cried out,
Me dispararon. Me dispararon. They shot me. They shot me.
Blood pooled on the floor as the camera captured his final moments. The incident wasn't just a murder, it was an execution carried out on live social media, witnessed by thousands of followers in real time. What followed was chaos. The camera, now on the floor, showed disorienting images of the ceiling and walls, as Gabriel's cries faded. In the background, his mother's screams continued, a haunting soundtrack to the violence that had just unfolded. The investigation moved quickly. Venezuelan police arrested Pierina Uribari, described as the partner of alleged gunman Adrian Romero. Arrest warrants were issued for Romero and two other suspected accomplices, Wilbert Gonzalez and Gerald Nieto. But for many, justice seemed elusive. Gabriel's death became another statistic in Venezuela's spiral of violence and corruption. Security footage and eyewitness accounts pointed to a coordinated attack. Two armed men, their faces briefly visible in the live stream, moved through the apartment with deadly purpose. The evidence was clear, yet the investigation faced immediate roadblocks. Gabriel's murder wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of a disturbing trend targeting journalists, activists, and social media personalities who dared to expose corruption. Just weeks earlier, Mexican influencer Valeria Marquez had been killed in a similar live stream attack. The message was clear: speak out and you become a target. The Venezuelan government officially maintains that groups like Tren de Aragua have been dismantled. Yet Gabriel's death and the evidence he left behind tell a different story. His final videos directly accuse the gang's leader, Hector Rustenford Guerrero, one of Venezuela's most wanted criminals, known as Nino Guerrero. The U.S. State Department has offered a $5 million reward for Guerrero's arrest, yet justice remains elusive. In one of his last broadcasts, Gabriel warned, "We are overrun with delinquent officials who work with common criminals." His words now serve as both testimony and warning. The attack wasn't just about silencing one voice, it was about intimidating an entire generation of activists and journalists. The extended aftermath footage shows the camera continuing to capture the scene's chaos. Gabriel's voice grows weaker as blood pools around him. In the background, his mother's cries become more desperate as she realizes the severity of her son's injuries. The international response was swift but measured. Human rights organizations condemned the attack, calling for a thorough investigation. Yet many observers remain skeptical about whether true justice will be served. The case has become a litmus test for Venezuela's ability to protect free speech and hold powerful criminal elements accountable. In the wake of Gabriel's murder, his social media accounts transformed into digital memorials. Followers posted tributes, sharing clips of his final broadcasts, and remembering his courage. The very platform used to silence him now amplifies his message to an even wider audience. Gabriel's death raises difficult questions about the role of social media in modern activism. Platforms like TikTok give a voice to those challenging power, but they also provide a dangerous stage for public executions. The paradox is clear. The same tool that empowers activists can also become the instrument of their demise. As the investigation continues, Gabriel's family and supporters demand justice. His mother, wounded in the attack, has become an unwilling symbol of the violence facing those who speak out. Their fight is no longer just about one man's death. It is about defending the right to expose corruption without fearing for one's life. The case against Gabriel's alleged killers moves slowly through Venezuela's troubled justice system. Each delay fuels suspicion that powerful interests are working to bury the truth he died exposing. For many, Gabriel's legacy now depends on whether his killers face true accountability. What happened to Gabriel Sarmiento was meant to silence dissent. Instead, it has sparked a renewed conversation about press freedom, corruption, and the price of truth in Venezuela. The fight for justice continues, and Gabriel's voice, though silenced, echoes louder than ever through the very platforms that once carried his message. Sarmiento's final live stream was chilling, but the next story is even more chilling. It shows how even a lighthearted broadcast in a busy marketplace can take a deadly turn. December 4th, 2022. Kathmandu's Indra Chowk Market buzzed with life as Gan Seojong, who was also known as Fatty Goes to Africa, streamed live to his 5 million fans. He laughed, talked casually with a friend, completely unaware of the chaos about to unfold. Gan was a 29-year-old Chinese food vlogger who made his career by exploring and promoting international cuisine. His live streams, packed with cheerful conversation and light banter, built a massive following back home. But his rise created enemies. This seemingly mundane footage, showing Gan joking about a L'Oreal sign, was actually the calm before a deadly storm. Just seconds later, the mood turned tense as he teased his companion about marriage, completely unaware of the danger lurking nearby.
小芳，你跟西西结婚吧？哦，小芳，你跟那个Margaret 结婚吧？行啊。结婚你。
A rival influencer, known as Zayun, but identified as 37-year-old Feng Zhengyong, had been watching Gan's rising popularity with growing resentment. Their long-standing feud over multiple unspecified disputes and unresolved debts festered beneath the surface.
哪里有网红酸奶？好喝吗？
Gan's final moments of ordinary life played out as he asked,
"Where's the internet celebrity?" and sipped his drink.
The tension in the story built, but Gan remained completely relaxed, unaware that Feng was shadowing him in the crowded market. What happened next was captured by the live stream and seen by millions, a moment that would forever change the world of influencer culture. Suddenly, a piercing scream, the camera shook violently, and chaos erupted. The screen went black. But that was only the beginning. Eyewitness footage later showed Gan, blood-soaked and dazed, sitting in the middle of the street. Feng stood over him, hurling curses in Chinese. Gan clutched his stomach, gesturing desperately for someone to call for help. His companion, 32-year-old Li Chusan, also lay critically wounded nearby. Paramedics rushed them to the National Trauma Center, but it was too late for Gan. He succumbed to multiple stab wounds to the chest and stomach. The investigation quickly revealed the deep-rooted professional rivalry between Gan and Feng. What began as competitive tension in the influencer world escalated into a fatal confrontation, all captured live for millions of shocked viewers. Feng was arrested at the scene, but the damage was done. The live stream, intended to showcase international cuisine, instead became a chilling testament to the dark side of online fame. Gan's death sent shockwaves through the influencer community. His platform, once filled with joyful food exploration, now served as a grim reminder of how professional rivalries could spiral out of control. Li Chusan, though critically wounded, survived the attack. His testimony helped piece together the final moments and underlying tensions that led to this deadly confrontation. The tragedy prompted a global conversation about the pressures and dangers faced by social media personalities. Gan's story became a cautionary tale about how online rivalry could have very real-world consequences. Feng faced murder charges and would likely spend the rest of his life behind bars. But for Gan's millions of fans, the disturbing livestream served as an eternal reminder of that ordinary day turned tragic, and these influencers unknowingly recorded their last moments alive, turning ordinary live streams into chilling final memories. Which story struck you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more.